colors in my cup of coffee. Watch the cream swirl as I think that my influences and my love of music just made me really drawn to performing. Even though it's scary and weird and unnatural in my mind, I just keep coming back to it because it's really about having a conversation with the audience and being able to connect. If I were to categorize my music, I would either call it queer pop or soulful pop. Some of the themes that I touch on in my music are love, heartbreak. I'm a big fan of pop music, so love is really the main topic. I write all of my music from my own perspective, and that's as a queer Black woman. And so even if my song is not about politics directly, I consider it to be political because I'm placing my story at the center of the narrative. When I perform live, if I'm alone, I use a loop pedal. And a loop pedal is essentially a machine that allows you to record your voice live and then loop it back and then add a layer and a layer. I use my voice to build the song, sort of like an a cappella group, but just by myself. When I started working as a musician, I was 22. We had a rap duo, and essentially we started shooting our own music videos. Very low budget, no budget projects. But basically I was editing them and shooting them, and I fell in love with film. I had never done film before. And so after a couple years, I decided to go to Howard to get an MFA in film. Since then, I've used music and film together. So creating music videos, of course, but also narratives that are music-driven. Music is my first love, but even when you're in love with one thing, you can still have a very strong attraction to this other thing. And my favorite is really when they come together. In the next year, I'm going to record my first full studio album. I've recorded and mixed and produced almost all of my work myself. So this is an exciting new venture for me to have clean, professional studio produced music. And then after that, I'm going to shoot and direct a feature film, which I wrote a few months back, and yeah, but I can't do both at once. It's very exciting to be a musician now, in that making music is a lot easier than it ever was. It's more accessible, equipment is accessible, but getting it heard is really difficult now. We have all of these services like Pandora and Spotify, but they're not going to feed you independent artists. They're going to feed you artists that they've already been successful with, that they've already sold. Every time I perform, I like to say that everyone deserves pop music. Pop music isn't usually the cool genre that you want to brag about listening to or making, but I think that Black folks, queer folks, any marginalized group needs a space for joy, they need a space for silliness, they need a space for cheesiness, love songs, and we can't be struggling and fighting all the time. We need some time to enjoy and celebrate our lives and our humanity. Everyone deserves pop music. Netflix is messing with my sex life. Messing with my sex life. Messing with my sex life. Hey, messing with my sex life. House of Cards is messing with my sex life. Hey, I wanna buy the girl a necklace. I wanna cook the girl some breakfast. I wanna sell a bunch of records. Come back and make the girl breathless. Real life, can't nobody hear me. Real life, the girl don't really feel me online. My picture is so pretty online. I'm better than the real me, better than the real me. I'm better than the real me. I'm better than the real me. Better than the real me. Hey, pick me. Click me. Swipe me. Brand me. Buy me. I'll be yours.